Hey, good Tuesday morning, everyone. This is just utterly amazing. I'm about to shut down every single naysayer about FIVERR. Just wanted to make sure the order and everything came through before I did a broadcast on it, talking to you folks about what just happened to me. I can't mention the client, but it's a major computer brand. I'll put it that way. And it is somebody saying it's no sound again. I don't believe it. I don't believe that there's no sound. Uh, who else is saying no sound? Someone said no sound at the beginning of, okay, great, Thomas. Thanks a lot. Someone said yesterday when I started the broadcast, there was no sound. But anyway, major computer brand. But I'm about to shut down every naysayer about the whole FIVERR thing. It's you gotta ignore the noise. I don't know what else. You gotta ignore the noise that's going on about voiceover coaches and other voiceover actors talking about don't waste your time getting on FIVERR. You're going to cheapen the brand. You're going to not make enough money. And now this can be true if you're not charging industry standard rates. You're going to be hearing me talk about that more and more and more about charging industry standard rates across the board on what you do anywhere, whether it's on FIVERR, whether it's on, I don't care what the platform is. It does not matter. Where do I begin in this whole thing? There was or is a definite strategy to my madness with this and how I got this one huge order for $6,300 on FIVERR from a major brand that everybody knows around the world. The strategy that I use, I've talked about, but what I want to do, and I'm going to be doing a webinar next Tuesday, actually, while I'm on vacation. I'm going to be on the East Coast. Thanks, thanks, Thomas. On vacation next week, but I'm going to be in my father's office, and I'm going to be doing the webinar from there, and I'm going to be laying out point by point how it is that I was able to accomplish this along with other gigs on FIVERR. But I'm going to be laying out this one specifically for this particular job that I got, because it is actually the biggest job that I've ever gotten off of FIVERR. And I mean, extremely proud of that. When I initially got the call or the message on FIVERR, which was a couple of weeks ago, and I think I may have mentioned that to you guys a while back, but literally the order just came through early this morning. So we're going to start recording on tomorrow in about a 6-hour session. This job for $6,300, it's 13,000 words. So you can do the math on that. $6,300 for 13,550 words. And it's a directed session, and they have the rights or whatever. I gave all of that. They paid for all of that stuff. They paid for the directed session, all of that stuff, dividing up of the files, all that kind of great stuff. Now, one thing that I want you to make you aware of, and the reason I'm not doing the webinar like this week is because, well, tomorrow all day I'll be recording. Thursday all day I'll be editing. Friday I should finish up, and I'm leaving to go on vacation. So I'm not going to have any time to do a webinar, but I know that it's important for me to do this. I just realize it is extremely important. And then also when I do the webinar on next week, I'll be able to tell you about the whole process of what happened, not only how I got the job, because that's the most important part. You guys need the strategy behind step by step what happened. And since I have this case study of one actual thing that happened, I can actually walk you through step by step how it is that the client found me, because I've already had that conversation with them. Because they didn't find me on FIVERR. They found me off of FIVERR. And so there's a complete strategy behind doing all of that. And it's something that I believe if you put into place, proof is in the pudding. I just got a $6,300 job off of this. Proof is in the pudding. So if you want to know about how it is that this all came to fruition, what I'm doing right now is I'm going to put a link in the chat. Let me just go, where did I put that doggone thing? And you can go ahead and register for the webinar. So let me just go in here. I got to see where to put my comments. Okay, here it is. And I will paste that in there. Boom. It is in the comments right now in the group. I'm going to go paste it in the comments on the page, business page. So it's there. Now you've got the link. If you want to go and register for that webinar that's going to be happening on next week, Tuesday. But the strategy that I use behind all of this is really a lot. It entails a lot of the things that I've been talking about over the past couple of months on how you can attract this work. Can you imagine waking up to an order, $6,300 on FIVERR, the place where everyone says, don't even bother with it. The place I say, that people say, don't even bother with FIVERR. You're cheapening the brand. You're cheapening the industry. I put up an Insta story this morning and I basically said, shut the hell up. It's like, this is my perfect case study to all the naysayers that have been saying derogatory things about voice actors that are using FIVERR as a platform to gain business. It's no more. Now, one of the things that I do want to tell you about this, because I've never had an order that big on FIVERR, basically I had to split the order because FIVERR only allows a maximum of $5,000. Hey, I needed more than that, dog. So basically I was communicating with the client via Skype, and he was trying to sign up and she was trying to sign up and all this kind of stuff. And it wouldn't, I saw, it's got a limitation of $5,000. So I split up the two orders so that they could, and gave them a custom offer so that they could get the whole thing done. And so that's one thing, those of you that, potentially get these huge orders, which they're out there. You just remember $5,000 is the limit that FIVERR allows per gig, or what they'll take for a custom offer or whatever. It's $5,000. So you got to be cognizant and aware of that. One of the good things about the whole thing is that, and one of the things I'm going to tell you about the strategy behind this is how in the world, okay, they sent me the information, or they sent me the request a couple of weeks ago on FIVERR to do this. And so you got to figure out how you can actually talk to these people. And I, figured it out. And so I'm going to be laying that out for you too, because you can't, say, call me or whatever on FIVERR. They don't like that. And you might get banned off of FIVERR for telling a client to call you or to Skype you or whatever. So I worked around that without even using FIVERR. I used my noggin and figured out how to do that so that I could communicate with this person. And he was so thankful that I did that. And I've been able to talk to them. I've been able to talk to the end user, to get all these things done and to go ahead and start working on this voiceover tomorrow. We actually, they scheduled a call on Skype to do a directed session tomorrow at 6 a.m. my time. And so I said the earlier the better. And so they're overseas. And so it made sense to do it early because it's going to be midday their time. I'm a morning person. Always have been. I'm not a night owl. You can get me up as early as you want. I'm cool with that. So I'm glad that I'm a morning person. So I'm going to be here in studio. And many mornings I get here by 6 a.m. anyway. Usually I'm here between 6 and 8 a.m., Monday through Saturday, almost basically. But there was a story going around about FIVERR. and these huge brands not wanting to work with voice actors that were on Fiverr. Did anybody hear about that? Put that in the chat if you heard that. Did anybody hear about that? There was a story going, I heard it all last year. Brands are making lists of voice actors that are on Fiverr and they're not using them because they're on Fiverr, which made no sense to me at the time. And here I am sitting with a major brand that just hired me to do a major corporate read for a major computer company. It's ridiculous. Storm is saying, I just read the other day that there's a way to communicate outside of Fiverr if it's necessary to communicate about your order without getting in trouble. Maybe. If you find out what that is, Storm, other than what I'm going to be talking about on my webinar next week, let us know. But Fiverr has this thing where they don't want you talking directly to the clients and stuff like that. And it even came up. I believe in karma. I believe that when you do right and do good things happen. The client actually asked me on Skype, do you want to do this on Fiverr or do you want to do this off of Fiverr? I said just what I said. Hey, I believe in karma. We found each other on Fiverr. Let's do it on Fiverr. And he was fine with that. And plus, it's going to give me another huge rating from a huge client on Fiverr. I don't mind paying the 20%, for that. They're doing all the work, so on and so forth. So, Storm is saying that she's going to try and get a screenshot. Awesome. Love that. But yeah, the blacklist thing. Thanks, Tom. I mean, the blacklist thing, that major brands and companies are blacklisting voice actors on Fiverr. I don't know who started that bullcrap rumor because I've never seen the list. And if there was a list, you better believe it would be out. You better believe the list would be out somewhere. And most, if not all of us, would have seen it by now because some voice actor high on a horse would be putting out a list. And even if someone does put out a list, how the heck do I know if it's real? The only proof that I have of anything is that I just landed a major nationwide computer company client on Fiverr. So what do you say about that? I mean, I don't know what other proof folks need behind that. And I believe, there obviously is a strategy behind this and how I even got that order to come in. Because I don't think that just happens. I think I know there's a definite process to getting that to work that way because you can't market on Fiverr. The only thing you can do is, put out the link to your Fiverr gig. I know there's a better way to do that. You can do that. And I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that other than you might get some flack from other voice actors talking about it. Somebody, I think on my own page put out flack to me because I posted my Fiverr gig for doing demos in the group. And he was like, oh, Fiverr? Mage Pro was in on that. I think Ben was in on that. Ben Wake. Everybody was not arguing, but there was a debate going on all day about Fiverr. And let me just tell you this, you're not going to win a debate on Fiverr with someone who does not believe in Fiverr. So I don't argue. I don't even debate about it. I just say the proof's in the pudding, and it's all about how you use this platform. It's all about what it is that you're doing to make this thing work for you, to get more clients and more money. You're going to hear me say that just about every day because that's what I'm on right now. More clients and more money. Back up a bit. I really want you to put in your head right now what it would do for you and how you would feel with a $6,300 order, whether it was on Fiverr or not. But I think it means something that this came through for me on Fiverr. I also know that it speaks to the talent and the skill that I use in order to make the opportunities like that available. And that's another reason why I want to do the webinar. I don't care if you type it in the chat or not, but I want you to think right now For all of the new voices, heck, the voice actors that have been in for a while, $6,300. What does that do to your life? What does that do to your life? You know what I'm saying? I love the life that I have, but I also understand that that amount of money for a lot of people is life-changing. It's life-changing. That's like paying off a car payment or paying off a couple of bills that you have, catching up on a couple of bills. Do you know how many microphones I could buy with $6,300? Do you know what I could do if I was so inclined in this studio? But I'm not. I'm not. I'm really frugal with how I spend my money. But it's like, and quite honestly, let me tell you this one. That amount of money for me means I can do a heck of a lot more marketing than I did this month. For me, that's how I look at that. I'm not looking at a watch or a ring or a vehicle, or I'm looking at how can I expand this out? How can I do more with getting the word out about what it is that I'm doing? For voice actors, how can I get out more information to potential clients using the strategies that I just laid out in my last webinar on Facebook ads? I'm dumping some money in Facebook. You better believe a couple G's are going to Facebook because I understand how to do it. Excuse me. I understand what to do with Facebook ads. That's why I did that webinar. It's, again, think about it, because this is what I say all the time. I'm not the smartest knife in the drawer on a lot of things, but this is what I honestly feel. If I did it, you now know you can do it. That's it. If one person has done something, it means anybody can do it. It kind of goes back to well, most of us aren't old enough to really, really remember this scenario. And I don't even know the dates that this happened. But for the longest time, no one could break the 4-minute mile. No one could break the 4-minute mile until someone did it. No one could do it until someone did it. What happened after that? Everybody started breaking the 4-minute mile. It just took one person to do it. And I want you to really get that. If one person did it, it means a whole lot more of us can do it. You've got to really think about that. And when I'm talking about, you hear me talking all the time, the grind and don't quit mentality, digging in, not stopping, pushing and pushing and pushing. And a lot of these things that happen to us, you can't plan for, but you can strategize for. I could have never told you that on one day I would have gotten an order for $6,300. I could have never told you that until it happened. But the things that I had set up and the things that you can set up to make these opportunities or allow a pathway for these opportunities to come to you is there. And on most of the occasions that you hear me talk, especially in webinars, that is what I want to get across to you. You can do this. You can do it. Are all of you going to get an order for that? No. But you know what I believe? Somewhere in this whole scenario, someone's going to do a bigger order than that for you. Somewhere for someone, it's going to be bigger than the $6,300 that I just got off of FIVERR. Somebody's going to do it because all it takes is for someone to do it. That's it. And you have to have enough within yourself. And that's why I've been talking a lot about mindset lately and things of that nature. That's why in the one-on-one coaching program that I've got set up now, it's mindset. That's what we begin with. Because if your mindset isn't right, I can't teach you any of the other stuff because you're not going to be spiritually prepared, mentally prepared to handle any of it. It won't even come to you. It won't even come to you. Yeah, Andrea just mentioned stuff about voices.com. I mean, even on that, you've got, voices.com tells you how much, you'll put your bid in for payment, but they're charging way more. Voices.com and they're making money coming and going. You're making $200-$300. They're making $2,000-$3,000. Okay. And they're letting us bid over these jobs like that. And I mean, it's a business model. That's fine. I can't begrudge them their business model. If it works for them, it works for them. But one of the things that I'm going to be pressing more and more day by day is going after your own clients. Going after your own clients. And that's what I did with this. I was on the offensive and I went and got the client, or I did everything in my power to be seen by that client and recognized by that potential client. And they chose to go ahead and hire me to do this job. It is not out of the realm of possibility that this can happen to you. And if you are stuck and thinking that it never will, it never will. It is that simple. The more things that I do and the more things that I talk about and discover, the more I realize the sky's the limit. I was sitting on my porch last night and just thinking about, okay, you've made it this far. What do you want next? What's the next goal? What's the next goal? And I've got a pretty big goal. I don't share those too often with people, but it happens. But if you don't have a goal, there's nothing for you to aim at. There's nothing for you to aim at. And I wanted you to be able, on this webinar that I'm going to be doing next week, Tuesday, I wanted you to be able to at least see in a very, very specific case laid out for you how this was accomplished, how it took place. Who's going to be on the webinar? Just put it in the chat. Who's going to be on the webinar? Who's clicked the link? Has anybody registered yet? I don't know. I know if you're on your phone, I know Storm's on her phone, so she hasn't registered for the webinar yet. Thomas is asking me what my end game is. My end game moves from time to time as far as where I ultimately want to wind up. I don't talk about, like I just said, my plans for the future a lot with people. One, because for me, I have a very small circle. It's not I have a very small circle, and I don't share that stuff with a lot of people because all of a sudden, when you start telling your dreams to people and your dreams are as big as they can be, because mine are big, people look at you crazy. Oh, you'll never. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's nice, sweetie. It's good you got that dream. One fundamental thing that I learned a long time ago about people in general, most people do not want to see you do better than they're doing. It's okay if you're a little bit low or if you're right at the same level, but the haterade comes in when you excel them and you pass them by. I have friends, it's like he gets in front, I get in front, they get in front, I get in front, and it goes like that. But the thing about that is with my circle, the very tight circle of like 2 to 3 people, we are cheering each other on at the same time that we are some competitive bastards. Charlie is asking a question. Morning, Earl, about what percentage of your business comes from P2P sites versus your own direct marketing efforts? Thanks for that question, Charlie. I don't get any work off of P2P sites at the moment. I am a member of Voices 123, but I don't have time to audition the way that I ought to. If I was just operating as a voiceover artist as opposed to running a full-blown audio production studio, I would be auditioning like a fiend. But the way that I get work is just, it comes to me because of the marketing efforts that I do to make that happen. I don't do a lot of auditioning. It is rare that I do auditioning. When I go in the booth, it's not normally for an audition, it's for work. That's pretty much the only time at this point in my career that I'm in there is when I have work to do for a voiceover client. And I have maybe during the course of the week, there's anywhere from 3 to 6 voiceover jobs that I have during the course of a week that just come in because of the marketing strategies that I use. I don't like auditioning a lot, even though I can do this at this point in my career because I've got repeat clients and stuff like that. But I know how it is to be a brand new voice actor, with that. All right, let's see here. Carlos, what's up, Carlos? Glad to have you in the house, man. When was your aha moment? The moment that you knew that marketing was the absolute key. Here's the thing. My aha moment. To point to one specifically, I don't think I can, but I understand why it happened. I spent years and years and years doing what most of you already do, as far as the only thing I knew to do. Voices.com, post on Twitter, audition. I didn't know anything else. And that's where a lot of voice actors are stuck. When I started a couple of years ago, utilizing the strategies that I now teach to basically be on the offensive and to go after the work, it started by producing content and getting awareness that way. But what changed the whole game is when I started spending money on marketing. That's what changed the game. When I started spending money on marketing. You guys, many of you have heard me mention over the last year, I need to do a training on Facebook ads. I need to do a training. But I didn't think that, one, I could teach it appropriately until I had done it for a significant amount of time. And so even through the beginning of this year, you've heard me say, well, I need to do something on Facebook. I didn't want to do it, not only because did I not feel prepared, but I didn't think you were prepared. I didn't think my audience was prepared for that webinar that I did. I didn't think, because my fear was that people would look at that webinar and go dump a bunch of money in Facebook ads and have no clue how to do it. And so again, that's why I developed the program that I have now to work with people one-on-one, so that it's not just you doing a Facebook ad, it's me doing the Facebook ad with you and showing you exactly what to do. I'd laid out a lot of stuff on that webinar on last week, but that was just the tip of the iceberg for real. Thomas mentioned I had a conversation with Mage Pro the other day talking about there needs to be a part 2 and a part 3. And I'm like, yeah, there does, because it gets more deep than what even I laid out in that webinar, which was extremely deep, on how to do Facebook ads. So I hope that answers your question anyway, Carlos. It was a point of, if you're in business, it's another business mindset. If you're not prepared to invest in yourself, no one else will. No one else will. If you're not prepared to go all out and all in a lot of ways that you can determine if you're going out or all in, you see where you spend your money. And that's what's important to you. Where you spend your money is what's important to you. It's that simple, because that's where our efforts go. What you do during the course of a day, every day, is who it is that you are. So I made a determination a long time ago to spend money on training, on coaching. And when I say training and coaching, I'm talking about business development training. I've taken 2 sessions with a voiceover coach 2 years ago, and I haven't taken one since. And before that, I took a couple. But what I've invested money in is what I knew I needed to invest in, which I'm not talking about equipment and gear. I'm talking about marketing and sales. That's where I've spent my money. There, who would spend $12,000 to understand and learn marketing principles? Who would spend $12,000? I did, because I needed to understand it more. And I knew that the coach that I was going to learn it from was going to teach me appropriately because of what they had done. And so the things that I've learned over the years, it's what I have taught. And because I'm a practitioner of it, I'm not just somebody out here that's just talking. I do this every day and I see the results. A $6,300 order on FIVERR. I see the results every day. That just happened to be like the biggest thing that's happened in a while for me. I've made more money on certain things, but this, particularly because it was on FIVERR, that's why I've got to do this webinar. And I want to do this on next week, Tuesday, because I'll be done. So I can give you the whole thing. I can give it to you from beginning to the end. The client experience on what it's like to work with someone that is paying you $6,300. And by the way, there was no negotiation. None. Not a question about how much it is. Nothing. There was absolutely no discussion on price. That is what it means to get a professional client. And how you've heard me say over and over and over again, the people that pay you the least amount of money will give you the most headache. But the people that pay you the value that you're going to get, the people that are paying the money, there's no debate. There's no argument. Nothing. I didn't say, oh, well, did you need a discount or did hell to the no. Did they ask me, well, hey, can you load? Nope. Didn't ask. The conversation was, can you just go ahead and send me a custom offer and we can go ahead and pay that for you now? They never asked me how much it was. I pretty much figured they knew because they had been on my FIVERR gig and they put in the numbers. So they pretty much knew about what it would be. There's a difference. Like he says, trusted professional talent, know what you charge. That's the difference. And people that are looking for quality will pay for quality. Now, here's the other thing behind this too. If you don't have the talent, you just don't have the talent. And you have to have enough self-awareness of that to know whether or not you've got the talent to do this or not. Because one thing that I do know, or I should say that I assume, I was not the only voice actor that they were considering. As a matter of fact, I do know. Actually, I do know that because they mentioned 2 or 3 others, but I got the gig. So they've searched for other people, and these folks are in Spain, Texas, so on and so forth. They've searched, and they decided on me. So either you have the and I did do, they asked, could you read a couple lines? I did that and sent it to them. And I don't normally do auditions on FIVERR. Don't normally do, let me bring something up here. I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to just see if I can find the communication on what happened with this particular order. Let's see here. Nope, it's not. Let's see. I want to read you this. I did this before. I actually showed this email on another live stream that I did. I'm just pulling it up here. Where is it at? Where is it at? I need to find where the conversation is. This is what started the ball rolling. I'm going to find it. I'm looking at the notification. It's in the inbox. Okay, here we go. Because this was telling from the first communication. This is the communication that I got. And let me move this over here so that I can see you guys, because I can't see you right now. Okay. Ben is asking if I did it through, I'm doing it through FIVERR. Doing it through FIVERR. All right. So here's the initial communication on FIVERR. Hi, my name is, I'm not going to tell you his name. It's not Slim Shady. I am a writer with, I'm not going to tell you the company, an e-learning company. I'm looking for a voice artist for a computer company project. It will be around a 10,000 word voiceover, give or take 1,000 words. It is a technical certification for, can't say the computer company. If this interests you, could you please record the attached slides as a test to see if your voice suits the technical aspects of the project? There are 2 PowerPoint slides with the script on them attached. Please ignore the text, blah, blah, blah. They're just for reference. Also, here's this line right here. This line right here. Also, please let me know how much the charge is for the test, and I will make the payment. They paid me for an audition. I only charged them $85. And I did the audition because of the word count. And I knew he had already put that in and knew how much it was. So I knew he was serious. But that line right there. Also, please let me know how much what the charge is for the test, and I will make the payment, which he did immediately. If you have any problems opening the PowerPoint slides, let me know. Blah, blah, blah. If we feel that your voice suits the project, then we may need to be connected to you while you do the voiceover reading, because there are some terms in the certification that are specific to that computer company. Please let me know if that is possible. Also, we have a lot of projects needing voiceovers at the moment, and we could certainly push more work your way. Many thanks. That right there. Yeah, fainted. That right there. You've heard me say, don't pay any attention to someone sending you a note on FIVERR. Hey, can you do a voiceover for me? With no information. Don't waste your time auditioning for stuff like that. This guy, 1, 2, 3.5 paragraphs of explanation of what they needed. That's why I responded. That was back on June 10th. Who asks to pay for an audition? I know that people do, but particularly on FIVERR. No, can you just do this audition and we'll see if we like it? He was serious. So everything that he asked for, I delivered. Everything he will ask for, I delivered. Here's the other kicker. The last line. Also, we may have a lot of projects needing voiceovers at the moment, and we could certainly push more work your way. Usually don't pay attention to that line, because usually when people use that line, they're trying to get you to do something for cheap or for free. Oh, well, do this for us and we'll see if we can. We'll be sending more work your way. No, this is the ideal client you want. Ideal client you want. This is what you should be looking for. The webinar that I'm going to be doing next week, as far as strategy goes, will probably be the most in-depth webinar I've done on strategy, because it's an actual case study. It's not me just telling you about a strategy. It's me showing you how this strategy actually worked in real life, in real time. That's the importance of this webinar. Charlie's asking, what's your preferred method of payment? Mail you a check, direct deposit, bank, PayPal. Most of the time I use PayPal. But because I'm a company, I actually have a virtual terminal. I can take credit cards over the phone through PayPal because I have a business account with PayPal. I just recently got that actually, and was glad that I qualified for that, to be able to do that, because I can just take the credit card number over the phone. And a lot of my clients, all of my clients that are here in the city that I live in Milwaukee, they normally just send a check, which I'm fine with. I've done business with them so much, it doesn't matter or whatever. But 99% of the time, it's through PayPal. My merchant account is through PayPal as well, where I'm able to just take credit cards over the phone and do that. So I hope that answers the question. Because you want to have those payments things set up, so that they work appropriately. All right. I've been on for 40 minutes. I usually only do this for 30. So I've got a big long day to prepare for tomorrow. I do have some obvious things to do today, but I'll be in the office 6 a.m. I won't be online. You may not, I'm like 98% sure you're not going to see me online tomorrow. Because I'll be recording this job that I just got tomorrow with that. With the particular client, Charlie, when you were asking about the payments, they were offering to pay via credit card or whatever with that. Charlie's asking, but I opted to go through FIVERR. Most cost effective, approximately what percentage does PayPal take? Charlie, a lot of those questions, and this may just be because of my, I don't know, inexperience or whatever you want to call it. I don't worry too much about what people take as far as I don't care about a percentage that, well, the credit card takes or whatever, because all of that is tax deductible. It's an expense. So when I do my taxes, it kind of all evens out with that, because it shows my expenses, what I pay for credit card fees or whatever. So a lot of that upfront stuff, it's kind of like, go make the money. It's kind of where I am on that. Maybe I'll change my mind later. Maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know. Who knows? Thanks a lot, Andrea. I appreciate that. Okay, guys. I put the link in the chat if you wanted to go and register for the webinar I'm having next week. I'm probably going to do another post in a minute here on wherever you're watching this at right now, whether you're in the group for Steps to Voiceover Success or on the business page right now watching. I'll put a link up for the webinar. I'm cracking my knuckles. Sorry. I'll put a link up for the webinar so you guys can go ahead and attend that. But I definitely appreciate your time today. Just know if one person has done it, U87, hey, Ben, I'm not spending $3,000 on a mic. That's not happening. It's just not. At least not from the $6,300 that I'm being paid. It's not going to come out of that. I'm going to have like a $25,000 payday to do that one. But actually, I don't think that's too far from coming. I really don't. I'm being completely honest right now. Oh, he's saying it's 9K. U66. Yeah, you guys go buy those mics. I'm cool with the Neumann and the Sennheiser in the booth. I'm cool with it. All right, guys. But again, if one person has done it, you can do it. So go do it. I'll see you guys sometime soon. It may not be until the webinar next week, Tuesday, because it just may not be. So go ahead and register for the webinar, and I'll see you there. God bless. See you soon.